Hello again, friends, and welcome to another fine edition of 151. My name is Adam, and I am joined by a man who wanted to run for office but found out using the rules of acquisition are not a great idea. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Justin.
Rule number one, once you have their money, don't give it back.
Has there ever been a part of you that's been like, I want to memorize the rules of acquisition?
No, but there is a handy-dandy book written by, I think, Armin Shimmerman Help, and I'm just like that far away from being a big enough nerd to own it, but I don't.
I want to learn the rules of acquisition. I don't know why I would ever need to know them, but it just feels like one of those things. It's like learning Klingon. Never going to use it. There you go. Anyways, this is 151 The Show. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at 151 The Show. And we are on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other channels that you can find them all at the bottom of the page. Apparently, we're on something called Luminosity or Luminary or something now. That's one I stumbled across this week, and I was like, oh, we're there too. Cool. So
who knew?
So for those people that are listening there, thumbs up to you. Anyways, and if you missed any of that, don't forget 151theshow.com or the station's website.com. All right, so that brings us to the month of November. And just so everybody knows when we're kind of recording, the election was last night. It is the day after the election. So
we know exactly as much now as we did the day before.
You know what's funny about the whole election thing is
it's a complete show.
That too.
Right.
It also, I think the thing that sums it up the best is the Armageddon scene where he's talking about NASA.
Right.
It's like, you're NASA, for Christ's sakes. This is the best you could do.
You're the U.S. government.
But anyways, yeah, that's where we're at right now. So we're the day after the election, so we don't really know what's going on. There's a couple of different possibilities and so on and so forth.
Tragic breaking news. Kanye didn't win.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. He was on the ballot here in Iowa. I legit thought about just going with him just to roll the dice and see what happens.
Almost 3,000 Iowans voted for Kanye West.
I was this close to being in Iowa that voted for Kanye. And really just because it's like, you know what? Okay, let's do it.
Right.
So where else is going on? Just to kind of play catch up since our last show, the Men in Black have not tracked us down yet.
Well,
although
I am in an undisclosed location.
You're there for work, though.
Fair enough.
You are, right?
As far as you know.
Since then, we had the beginning of Star Trek Discovery, the Mandalorian, which we'll actually get to those here in a little bit, but there's some other housekeeping stuff to get to before we get there. Sadly enough, we found out Sean Connery passed away. When was it? October 30th or 31st, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple days ago, 3, 4, like over the weekend.
I think it was Saturday. So according to his son, he passed at the age of 90 in his sleep. Sir Sean Connery, we wish you the best in the great beyond.
Right.
I'm not a huge Bond guy. I like the funny stuff Sean Connery's done, but I'm not by any means a uber fan, if that makes sense.
Well, he was Dr. Jones Sr. I mean, that deserves.
That's probably my favorite role of his,
if nothing else. So he was good in that. He was good in The Rock. I know he was a big proponent of Scottish independence. And of Scotland. From all accounts, though, not to speak ill of the dead, he could be a right bastard, but can't we all?
Yes, no, we can. I would say Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, probably my favorite Sean Connery movie.
It's certainly up there, and I mean, it's probably my favorite indie movie, so that doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no, you know what? It might be mine as well. Boy, that's a conversation for another time, eh?
Right.
So, otherwise, kind of around the neck of the woods here. Not really that this guy would have been a fan of this show, but found out some sad news today. Starting to get to the age where people start passing away suddenly. Dude I worked with, in between my radio jobs, I worked at a place called Fender Cycle, Indiana, Des Moines. And a guy I worked with there, his name was Randy Meckler, called him Arkansas, or when we wanted to piss him off, Arkansas. Sadly, found out he passed away this morning. So by chance, if any of his family or friends are watching this, just, thoughts and prayers to you guys, and to Arkansas, wish you nothing but the best in the great beyond, man. Really do. So.
And if he's looking down, rest in peace, buddy.
He was a biker, man. What's
funny is your post today on that made me text. I have the privilege of working with a guy that I've known literally all my life, one of my oldest and dearest friends. We often will exchange pleasantries at work by looking at each other during the day and say, yeah, and the horse you rode in on. So when you put that up, with me being gone this week, I immediately texted him to see if anybody had said anything like that to him this week. And he immediately figured out what I was fishing for and setting him up for, and turned around and dumped it on me without hesitation. So
the story that Justin is talking about, so at the bike shop, if you've never worked at a motorcycle shop, it is a much different world. And truth be told, it's one of the coolest jobs I've ever had, was working at Fender Cycle in Des Moines and Fenders of Ames. Or Fender's Honda, as it was called. But what Arkansas would do when you'd come in the morning, he'd go, "Hey, Adam, anybody tell you to go f*** yourself today?" "No, go f*** yourself." And he'd just have the biggest smile on his face. And it was just so damn funny. And it was like an everyday thing. But no, I had such a good time with that guy. And he was only 37 years old. Found out. That's too young, man.
That's way too young.
Because I'll be 40 at the end of the year. You're 40 already, right?
I'm 40 already, yeah.
Boy. So, anyways, as we make our way through it, Arkansas.
It was both a blessing and a relief to turn 40 this year in COVID times, because while it would have been kind of fun to get together for my 40th, by the same token, I didn't have to, go through that whole 40th thing. So.
That's what Steph was asking my wife. She goes, "Do you want to do anything for your 40th birthday?" And I'm like, "No. Yep. I want to sit at home, be merry by myself." Well, maybe with the family. Possibly. I don't know.
Nope. I had very few special birthday requests, and some of them came true, and some of them still didn't. So.
Oh, God, ain't that the truth? This is 151. This is 151 The Show. You can find us online at 151theshow.com or this station's website.com. One final thing before we get to our actual topic for the night. Justin and I, Justin texted me earlier today, and he's like, "Hey, you want to record? Good internet service." I'm like, "Okay." Truth be told, been a little under the weather the last couple days, and you've been sick since COVID's hit, right?
Yeah, 3 or 4 times.
Do you not feel like everybody's staring at you when you go into the store and get some like Dayquil or I like that emergency stuff?
Right.
It's just one of those. It's like, oh God, everyone's gonna think I'm the carrier monkey here.
Right now, I'm not sick, but I work in agriculture. I'm out in fields right now that have only been recently run, and I have these little things we like to call allergies.
Yeah.
So earlier today, I had been in the truck stop, so I still had my neck gaiter on, and I'm literally like wiping my nose and rubbing it on my neck gaiter because my nose is pouring, and I'm starting to go out in the field. And the one dude looks at me, and I'm like, it's not Rona, it's dust.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Well,
yeah, everybody looks at you like you got the frickin' plague.
Well, that's half the reason why I'm late tonight is the same reason why I have this cold is because of the 5-year-old. He's been going to school and stuff, and he came home this weekend, and he all of a sudden he's like, "My throat hurts." Right. It's like, oh, you
kids are petri dishes, dude.
Yeah, they really are. So,
and I will say, I think between the masks and the hand washing, I think it's better this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, guaranteed, we send the kids back to school and there's like a 3-week lag time.
Yeah.
And what'll knock my kid down for like 12 hours with a slight sniffle mutates into me like losing function in one lung every fall since she's been in a school environment. They're just petri dishes. They're disgusting.
God. Like on Sunday night, the wife and I were both like, "Do you kind of feel like?" Yeah. It's not that we're just tired. We're just tired. You know, you're trying to talk yourself out of it.
Right.
You know.
Right. So, no, I don't have time to be sick. There's no way.
But the reason I was actually late for getting everything done was actually because of the 5-year-old. I just want to give my 5-year-old props. It's not often I'm fairly impressed by the boy because he's a big disappointment. I'm kidding. There's gonna be years down. There's gonna be years down the line when I'm dead and gone, and he's looking for a little love, and he's gonna come across that very clip.
What the Dad?
Oh, anyways, no, but we go down and we have this whole thing where he watches his phone or my phone for like 3 minutes, and then we read a story, and then he gets in bed, right?
Right.
Well, tonight, like he's in kindergarten, so he's starting to learn how to read more. And he's actually doing pretty well at it. So we sit down and we read Penelope Rex, I think it's called. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's about a T-Rex that goes to kindergarten and eats her class.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Pretty fantastic book. But anyways, we get done reading it, and then he goes, "Dad, I'm going to read it to you." So he sits, and I was like, "Oh, man, I don't want to listen to him read." But then it's like, you know what? I got to be a dad here. Dad's going to stay and listen to him read and help him. And we went through that whole damn book. And he actually did a really legitimately good job. Like I got done. I'm like, all right, you earned your keep.
During the editing process, can you go back and put a banner about 3 minutes ago and say, "Warning, upcoming childhood trauma"?
No. Much like all of mine, it's going to hit him full bore right in the face.
Right.
What was it, Jeff Foxworthy, when he was talking about like the TV stand or putting like a fork in an outlet? You know what? You learn that lesson once and you never forget it. So
that's right. Kaylee, my 3-year-old, we're working on finishing up potty training, but she's learned that if she goes into the bathroom and says, "Hey, I got to go to the potty," and requests the Kindle for a major transaction, majority of time she gets it. So when she doesn't want to go to bed or she doesn't really want to do something, she's faking a poop to go get a Kindle so she can sit on the toilet and not have to go do anything she's done. And on one level, it's infuriating. And on the other, I got to respect it. I mean, I got to give the kid props.
Yeah, because that's where I go to cry. So I completely get it.
Yeah, exactly.
See what Jace does, and it's totally turned into a kid's show for a little bit, so sorry for those of you at home. You ever see those things where it's like do's and don'ts of raising a kid? One's like washing baby, and it's like the guy standing by the dishwasher watching his watch.
You know... that's like when Savannah was 3 months old. I walked out. I walked out, and there was the wife went into the bathroom, or I was waiting on her, and I looked at the lady nearby, and I'm like, I don't get these diaper change machines. I put her in there. I closed the lid. Nothing. I waited a good 5 minutes, and she's just horrified. We should do the childhood trauma show and tell parenting stories one of these days. Although I'm fairly sure if Savannah ever sees the bachelor party episode, got it covered. You know, as the parent of an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, I remember, like, in those early days, being paranoid and frightened and tired and afraid and all strung out. And I'm like, you know, that was physically demanding. But honestly, you know, I can remember holding my child in my arm, you know, in the crook of the arm when she was a newborn, and getting to play PlayStation, you know, and using that time. Now they have personalities and problems, and it's like 10 times more difficult being a parent now than it was then. But I'm slightly better rested.
The attitude, though. If only the kid had the attitude of Baby Yoda, what a wonderful world it would be.
That kid is adorable. I want my kids to be more like Baby Yoda.
Everybody wants their kid to be like goddamn Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Except Disney, they don't want you to say Baby Yoda. Well, we're calling
Yoda,
him Baby
Yoda. Yoda, Baby Yoda.
That's what we call a segue, friends. So, no, we'll do a whole child show someday, right?
Yeah.
I think we got enough stories that we can make it good.
Oh God, yes, I can. Let's submit or let's solicit bag of baby questions.
Ooh.
Right?
Or no, better. Submit your questions for Bag of Questions. You can write us 151theshow@gmail.com or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of the other channels. Parenting advice from 151.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. The bag of baby questions. This is what I'm saying. You give us a scenario from feeding to pooping to parenting. I don't care. 0 to 18. I'll take a whack at it. I don't care.
When should baby have his first cigarette? As early as possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you should knock that out by at least 13. Let them get that disgusting feeling so they know later on.
So it's just one of those things, start them out with like a menthol or something, and then work your way up to like a Lucky Strike.
Start with a Marlboro Red. That's what I did.
This is 151 The Show. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at 151 The Show. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn. God damn, what were some of the other ones? They're all at the bottom of the page.
That Liquify thing that you were talking about earlier?
Luminary, I think it's called. I don't know. Luminosity. There's Deezer now. There's Cash something, Casher Box, or...
We're everywhere.
There's so many of these goddamn things that every time I see one, I sign up for it because you know what? Right. I want the show to be as mass appeal as possible. So you can find us easy.
Well, we're only averaging 3 views per service. The good thing is we've got 9,000 services.
Listen, I'll tell you what, those can find us.
We got on Quibi just as it went down. We took down Quibi.
Oh, God. Anyways, if you missed any of that, 151theshow.com or this station's website.com. The real reason we got together tonight was to we haven't actually discussed like sci-fi nerd stuff in a while. I don't feel like.
No, we've had theme shows and guests, and I mean, we spent 3 weeks schlubbing to get Ryan Patrick employed. I mean, we got to get back to the roots.
Yes. So tonight we're going to break down. As of right now, like I said, it's the night after the election. So what is that? November 4th is when we're recording this. But right. As of right now, 1 episode of The Mandalorian is out, right. And 3 episodes of Discovery are out.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, and you're correct. Unscripted, off topic, but before I think of it, Truth Seekers just came out on Amazon Prime, and all, I think, 8 episodes. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, kind of paranormally. I'm pretty sure it's like Seth and Jesse's real life.
Okay. What's it called again?
Remade in London. Truth Seekers.
Truth Seekers. Okay.
And it's good. Go check it out.
All right.
It's really surprisingly good.
You just reminded me I do have a shameless plug for tonight.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, I can shamelessly plug Choice Hotels.
Who do you think you are, you Vanna White, looking over your
Right?
I thought, am I supposed to put some? Oh, I'm putting a penis there. You're damn right. I'm going to. Now we're going to do the burrito lift. Okay, if anybody's listening to this, go to the YouTube channel.
Still watching, God bless you.
If you go to the YouTube channel and check that out, because that's going to be goddamn funny is what I'm going to say right there. But anyways, so as of right now, 1 episode of The Mandalorian is out, and 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery are out. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's do Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. I was vaguely bored by the first episode.
I know you were underwhelmed. There was a lot of deep cuts in this episode. Okay, spoiler alert recap. Season 1, Mando, at the end of season 1, the Mandalorian armor lady says, I'm putting you on a quest, reunite this little green thing with its family and its species. There are legends of sorcerers named Jedi fighting Mandor. Go reunite. It's your quest.
Jesus, you sold that show.
Huh?
Boy, if I had never heard of Mandalorian after that description.
Right. So, episode 1 finds our hero headed to find more Mandalorians. He hears a rumor of one on Tatooine. He goes, I know Tatooine. I've spent time on Tatooine. There's no Mandalorians on Tatooine. Finds a deserted mining town, basically really strong Western vibes.
Yeah.
Like on this episode.
Well, the whole show has a strong Western vibe. I thought was super strong. Yeah.
So goes out there. Timothy Oliphant wearing Boba Fett's old armor. Town's being terrorized by a crate dragon. Deep cuts ensue. I liked it. I really did. So, God, where to begin? You've got your way into the Sand People.
Yeah.
You get more Sand and Jawa lore than anything else. It actually ties back. Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, played by Timothy Oliphant, is actually in several extended universe books. So it's not an unknown character, but Dave Filoni and those guys, Jon Favreau, tied it in real well. We get to see the rocket pack, or the rocket on Boba's armor.
Which couldn't have been more awkward when he shot it, right?
Right. I don't ever want to do that again.
Well, think about this. You aim with this thing, right?
Right.
And then you put your head down.
Right. I did like the fact that Mando just reached over and slapped the button to shoot him off the same way that Han Solo did to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Turned around and hit it. That was a nice callback. The crate dragon stuff there's a lot of, like, the pearl at the end that the Sand People got. That is all very, like, extended universe, deep cut. There was a series of books about Tatooine and the Hutts and all that referenced that stuff extensively. I mean, we saw vibroblades at the Gamorrean fight at the beginning, which has been long talked about in Star Wars literature. That we have an accurate representation on. There was a lot of really, like, satisfying deep cut material. If you're not familiar with it, probably fell a little flat. Probably was a little bit boring.
You know what the whole part of it for me was that was boring, or got boring, I should say. I've seen that story.
Right.
They've and not just in a Western or other shows, but they've done that same story or type of story a bunch of times in Mandalorian. Right. Where he's on a quest, goes somewhere, finds somebody that's possibly an enemy, decides to help them out, and then they do something, and then he either makes a new friend or makes an enemy. And there's been a lot of those shows that have used that same. That's what was boring to me.
If you take and change the Marshal to the Rebel Gina Carano chick, and change the Empire to Crate Dragon, that's basically the same episode. You're right. It's a very, very procedural and very, I'm not necessarily going to say repetitive, but pretty familiar. I'll give you that one.
Listen, there's going to be spoilers here. Seeing the guy that possibly was Boba Fett at the end, like, it was okay.
He's either Boba or one of the Stormtrooper clones.
Yeah, it's like, okay. That almost seems like, how do I describe that? It seems like the easy way out, right?
Yes and no. I mean, the thought that Boba was still alive has been around in Star Wars literature since the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an almost 40-year-old idea. It's so old that the tropes that it reminds you of are actually based on itself.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I think it looks good. It's better than any of the new movies. I'll tell you that much.
Oh God, yes.
But it was one of those things. It's like, I've seen this episode before. I wish they would have done something a little bit different to start the show that season.
Right.
Going to a different place. It's like, hey, we're going back to Tatooine. Great. Let's go back to the desert again.
You do have to remember, though, that this was written
I
think shot about the time that season 1 was airing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had really no idea of how popular it was going to become.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. And listen, I'm no expert in this stuff by any stretch of the imagination. I can just go by what my feeling was sitting in the chair the other night watching this.
Right.
And it was, I started looking at my phone midway through. And it wasn't like looking up stuff about the show. It was just, hey, let's see what's on Facebook right now or whatever. Right. Oh, okay. And then, you know what the funny thing was? So they're getting ready to attack the big lizard at the end, right?
Right.
And my wife goes, why don't they just have them eat the buffalo with the bombs on it?
Right.
And I go, because that would be way too easy.
Right.
And then, of course, they do it, and she goes, throws up her arms.
See, and I was waiting for Neil Patrick Harris to come out and go, it's afraid.
Oh, just to get that Starship Troopers
reference in, man.
Oh, so no, I'm excited about The Mandalorian. I think it'll be good. I was just disappointed in the first episode. I will be watching still. I will tell you this, I will be watching on Friday night.
I loved it. I don't care.
That's cool. And listen, it's not like I hated it,
It's not like Iron Man 3.
It's not like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Right. This is 151 The Show. You can find us at 151theshow.com or this station's website.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at 151 The Show. As we kind of round things out tonight, going back to the shows that came out, Discovery, as we are recording on a Wednesday, tomorrow will be the 4th episode of Discovery Season 3. And I got to tell you right now, I was not looking forward to this. I didn't think it was going to be good. The very first episode, I was absolutely blown away by how much I enjoyed it.
Discovery for me, and we've talked about this in depth.
Yes.
Was very much a pessimistic dystopian view of a time in future history, Starfleet history that we're familiar with, the original series era, where the Federation has been presented as a utopia. There's no arguments within Starfleet. It's a force for good. Very much Gene Roddenberry's vision that the future could be better, and it never ever vibed or worked for me because it was at odds.
Yeah.
With that vision. You move Discovery 900 years into the future where everything's gone to and suddenly that dystopian view actually works.
Yeah.
This show actually kind of works now. I don't know that I'm a fan that it's gone like this, dystopian future, because that is kind of a trope these days and everybody's doing it. I still would like to see, a positive, portrayal of the future, but it works.
Oddly, I just had a very fantastic, weird idea. What if you would have taken Discovery and instead of shot them 900 years into the future, you sent them like 900 years into the past? The basis of myth and lore on the planet Earth of like magic and, some of the legends of like the King Arthur or Greek mythology or Roman mythology. You land them in an era like that, and it's Discovery trying to get home.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I just thought of that, but no, I thought the first episode was great. Like I legitimately liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. I loved the scene when she was on drugs.
Yeah,
that was just fun. That really was. The one Orion guy, the guy with the
I did think the scene where she was on drugs kind of came out of nowhere. It's just hard drugs, let's get high. I mean, it really it was pretty disjointed from the rest of the episode. It was just like, let's do heroin. That was weird.
I just liked it though. It was kind of one of those things. It's like, hey, we're gonna get answers from you, and we're not gonna fuck around. We're just gonna do it. Dose her. But no, the only thing about that episode that stood out to me was the one Orion guy with the jet black hair.
The Incredible Hulk?
Maybe, but I don't know. He was the guy that was kind of the head Orion guy. He didn't look right?
He was completely green, but like not like bulky like an Orion. He was just very strangely colored.
He looked like dude from middle management dressed up as an Orion, and he was at a Star Trek convention, and they're like, "Hey, pretty good makeup. Why don't you be on our show?"
Very, very green. You're very, very green.
Second episode of it, didn't care for it. I should say I didn't care for all of it. There are parts I like. I like the engineer Tilly and the other lady. I think they have kind of a fun relationship going on.
Right.
And then the third episode where they finally come back to Earth, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either, though. I liked it better than the second episode, I'll say that.
Right. It's a little bit, okay, hey, we're magically Starfleet, and we're going to put two people in the same room and rip a mask off, and oh, you're human, and oh, we never bothered to look and see where you were coming from, even though you're in our own solar system. And if we just stop for 2 seconds, it wouldn't have been, that conflict wouldn't have been born out of ignorance. They would know exactly who those people were. Realistically, if they were keeping them out, it would be from a class conflict or a resource conflict. But just we never bothered to ask, and you wear a weird bug mask. That part for me fell flat.
Yeah, it screamed of, hey, we're gonna drop current politics and into a Star Trek show, and
we need a victory of the week for our intrepid heroes to show people by talking that we can make a difference.
I don't know, those 2 quantum torpedoes they fired at Discovery, sure.
Boy, that screwed him up, didn't it? Nice to see him carrying through. So, and obviously spoilers, we're talking about this, but okay, so they've integrated all the sphere knowledge into Discovery, conveniently giving them all of the information that the viewer has gotten from 700 hours of Star Trek and five series now, and all the different alien races and stuff. It kind of feels like they threw away, like the last 2 seasons were designed to be like throwaway seasons just to set them up to this point. Like, I almost feel like they could have done this over a series of like 8 episodes in the first season and gotten to the same point.
I get where you're going with it. The first season, it was about the Klingon War, which that made no sense.
Well, the Klingons and Lorca and the Mirror Universe and all that.
I just the first season, if you were to tell me to explain to you what was going on there, I don't think I could.
Right.
I really
and the weird Klingon dude now looks human, and they're banging, and now he's like split personality, and none of that makes sense. Works for me.
Second season, like I said, I liked it. It felt more like Star Trek.
Pike.
Huh?
Chris Pike.
Yes. Which, hopefully Strange New Worlds comes out here sooner than later.
Right.
But, I don't know. I just, the first episode, I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. I thought the acting was good. I don't know. I liked it.
I like the new book guy.
The book guy. Oh, Booker.
Yeah. Cleveland Booker.
Yeah. Cleveland.
Anytime you call a guy Book, I'm immediately going to Shepherd Book from Firefly.
Yeah.
But I like his cat.
Yeah.
Big cat.
Like him glowing and having magical powers, that's going to come up at some point, right?
It's Chekhov's gun. There's no way that comes up without, significance later on. He really hasn't explained any of that crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I always have a little bit of issue when, the person from the past, future, other galaxy, it just happens to meet the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like, first person in the new strange world, planet, galaxy, dimension, time, whatever. But it is what it is.
What do you think's going to happen with this? I mean,
I don't know. And it's the first time like, no, seriously. And it's probably the first time in any sort of, if you ask me, okay, Deep Space Nine, season 3 going into it, what's going to happen? Well, obviously, tensions with the Cardassians are going to come to a head, and, they're going to explore the Gamma Quad. There was a flow.
Yeah.
They have just slapped the shit out of that big old reset button right now. I can't tell you what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, like you look at Voyager, the overwhelming idea of that show was get home.
Right.
Enterprise was go explore.
Right.
Expand humanity, if you will.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more. TOS was explore. Right.
Right. And TOS was episodic. There wasn't a lot of, overarching story. Obviously they're going to try and piece together what happened with the burn and why all the dilithium exploded. Are they going to make a play maybe to go back in time and fix the future? I don't know, because to everybody else it's the past, but to them it's still the future.
Yeah.
But if they can figure out the time travel thing again, why do they stop there, and why not just go, back to the 24th century?
I had read that at some point they want to do like a big crossover thing with Picard, Strange New Worlds, and Discovery. Like, part of you wonders, do they jump back to go to Picard's time because of that alien intelligence at the end of that?
Oh, and speaking of Picard, have you heard the rumors that they want to get Avery Brooks back for a Cisco?
Yeah, I did. And I'm A-okay with that.
The only thing that I read that kind of puts me ambivalent on that is, and it's a theme I think that and I don't want to get political or controversial here, but the first thing I read was that Avery is maybe willing to entertain it, but he wants to address issues of equality and race and this, that, and the other. And I'm sitting here going, that's solved by, not that it may never be completely solved, but, that is, again, a future where humanity has aspired to be better. Those issues are not supposed to, and I'm not saying you ignore them completely, but if that's the main focus of your show, I don't think that works.
You know what, though? If you spun it as the way, and listen, when I say spin, I don't mean it in a bad way. But, if you're talking about it on Earth and in the Federation, those things aren't issues anymore.
Right.
Maybe it's a thing of, because he has ties to the Bajorans.
Right.
Maybe it's the equality between the Bajorans and the Cardassians.
Right.
That sort of thing. Maybe it's something like that. But I don't care what he comes back as. I really don't. Right. I want, and I'll tell you this. I've been rewatching Deep Space Nine. I started a few weeks ago, and I was just like, you know what? I'm rewatching it. There are two things I love about that show. One, I love episodes with him and Jake. I love the father-son episodes. And I'll tell you, as a dad now, I never really liked the episode until I watched it again. But when he gets trapped in the time bubble or whatever and Jake grows up.
Jake's no man.
God damn, did I cry the other night.
Oh, that, yeah.
I turned it off and I went upstairs. I'm like... had just, God, I couldn't believe it. But just that relationship was so good.
It was. No, absolutely. 100%. And I am all for bringing Sarah Clofton back and exploring that. You can't explore one without another. To bring Cisco back and not to acknowledge Jake and that relationship would ring true not only to the character, but to any, I think, real storytelling you want to do.
Did you ever?
I 100% agree.
Did you ever watch any of the stuff about the 20th anniversary thing or whatever they did with Ira? What's his name?
Stephen Bear, the What We Left Behind.
Yeah.
I watched a good chunk of it. I didn't ever get to like sit down and watch it all the way through.
Did you hear what they wanted to do with the 8th season if there would have been one?
Not well enough to speak to it.
Basically, it starts out, it's like 20 years later, which would put it about, with this age group.
Right.
The station has become kind of essentially a shrine to the wormhole, to the emissary, to all that.
Okay.
Nog comes hauling ass through the wormhole. The Defiant's it's been pummeled. It explodes and he dies like the first scene.
Oh, geez.
But there's a new threat from like the Dominion or something, or somebody from the other side, and
right.
Eventually, I believe Cisco. If I remember right, Cisco comes back. Does he though? I can't remember. I know in the book series he comes back. He actually takes command of the USS Robinson, a Galaxy class ship. But anyways, Kira, I want to say she's like a Vedic. If not Kai at that point. There's a standoff between the Federation and the Bajorans, and then you find out Bashir is actually the head of Section 31 now.
Nice.
So I'd love to see it, just for the fact I'd love to see it. I think there's no from the Next Generation stuff. I mean, you got to see a lot of. Like the original series with the 6 movies. What happened to them?
Right.
TNG, you got the movies. Now you're getting Picard, so you're getting some callbacks.
Right.
Seriously, the Deep Space Nine, Voyager, or Enterprise, I think there's still stories to tell there.
Picard has given we got 7 back. So there is a template, and that was obviously interesting and engaging. So, I mean, I agree with you. I think there's stories to tell.
You know what, though? You know what? I never even thought about it till now. Star Trek made their own cinematic universe years ago and nobody noticed. Between TNG, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine.
The crossover episodes, I mean, yeah, you're right. They were really the first ones to have an interconnected universe.
And you know what? Now that you've got better effects and better... everything. God, can you imagine seeing Deep Space Nine now?
Right? Can you imagine seeing like the motion picture Enterprise, not the J.J. Abrams prize?
Yeah.
But that frickin' beauty up rendered today.
Yeah. I'm just amazed we got to see the Titan on lower decks.
Oh, so good. So good. And that, you know what? Riker and Troy totally work in that medium.
Yes, they did.
As goofy as Lower Decks has been, Jonathan Frakes, Will Riker can slide right in there, and it does not affect my perception of that character at all.
Warp 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right?
That could be the best line in all of Star Trek.
Jazz thing again.
Oh God, that's so good. I don't know. So does that kind of cover the Star Trek stuff? I mean, we've kind of
rambled on.
Yeah, I mean, are you good? We completely sidestepped away from Discovery and went into, us wanting Voyager. Well, Kate, she's coming back. She's going to be on some animated show.
She's going to be in the Nickelodeon Kids thing. Yep.
Which, how is that a thing? But I wouldn't mind seeing her back. Okay, of all of those people, who do you most want to see come back?
The people in the Next Generation crew that I'd most like to spend time with is the continuing adventures of William T. Riker and Deanna Troi.
Okay.
Maybe even more than Picard. From Deep Space Nine, I would like to see Julian and Miles, just as like crotchety old guys, if nothing else. And from Voyager, to me, Seven's the only really compelling character there, although maybe a pop-in on B'Elanna and Tom, and like Harry's living in an apartment over their garage.
I was just thinking of different sitcoms you can put to all this. Imagine doing a remake of Cheers, but with DS9 people.
Quarks?
Yes.
I'd watch it.
I would totally watch it. And you know what? Balana and Tom, that'd be a cool one. If they promote Harry Kim, it's wrong.
You know, there's your next animated show. You set it in a bar like that, and like the whole Starfleet A plot is actually like the B plot that you like. They're talking over here at this table, and then it's like later in the episode, the lights are shaking and everything because you know the battle's going on, and then they talk about it over at the other table, but it's never the main thing. Like the main plot is that, hey, we're low on grub worms and the hijinks that go around that. I don't know that you could get more than a season or two, but God, it'd be good.
And with that brings us to the end of the show. This is 151 The Show. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at 151 The Show. We are on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, a whole bunch of other, ton of other channels.
We're swearing a lot tonight.
Yeah, we are. We really, really are. But you can find all those at the bottom of the page, 151theshow.com or this station's website.com for all that information. We can't end without a shameless plug.
Cue the music!
This is a part of the show where we shamelessly plug something. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a book. It could be a movie. It could be a TV show. It could be a food. Whatever it is, we just shamelessly plug it.
Choice Hotels.
Penis. Excuse me. For those of you who are listening to this, you just missed Justin waving at a penis.
My presentation wave again.
Tonight for the season plug, for the shameless plug, I'm actually going to plug something I stumbled across. I believe it was last week or the week before. I'm not much of a horror movie guy. It's just those types of movies. I mean, just don't do it for me, right? I stumbled across this short 10-minute movie on YouTube that is absolutely fantastic. And it's very Halloween-y. It's very, there's a lot of suspense in it. I will say it's a little slow-moving in parts, but I really enjoyed it. It's called The Jester.
Okay.
There are 3 chapters of it. You can find it on YouTube. They're all on there. Just search The Jester, and there'll be chapters 1, 2, and 3. But just creepy, has a good soundtrack. It's a really well put-together short movie. I really enjoyed it. And it's all about this I guess, guy.
Jester?
He wears a jester mask and a top hat and stuff, and he goes around. And basically, if you applaud him and stuff, he's cool with you.
Right.
If you don't applaud him, he's not cool with you. And things get weird and twisted.
So he's like me answering Facebook reviews.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. No, it's very cool. It's very... Like, the first thing I thought, I'm like, oh, I want to be that for Halloween next year. Right. If there's Halloween. I don't know. That's just, that's my shameless plug this week. So
that sounds good to me.
You have one? Did you want to drop one in?
Well, I mean, I can literally do, all jokes aside, Choice Hotels. That's my lovely location tonight. I'm out traveling for work, so they've always been good to me. I've spent a lot of money. I got a lot of points with them. So
how's their coffee?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad. They, like so many other hotel chains, have moved to the individual pods.
Yeah.
And the small Keurigs. You know, the one thing that I always recommend on that from a seasoned traveler, don't use the city water to do that. Get a bottle of water and make your coffee in the morning. If you're going to do your in-room coffee, you will thank me. Because there's nothing worse than getting out and getting in the pickup and getting down the road and taking that first sip of chlorine.
Speaking of coffee, I have to add in one more shameless plug tonight. And I know we're running long tonight.
Well, we do love to talk.
Yeah, I know, right? Just to throw a shameless plug, because I talked to him the other day when we were talking about some stuff. Just Coffee Coop. It's a Twitter page. I don't know if you can see that or not for Justin, but they are at Just Coffee Coop, COOP. Just a organic coffee roaster, shipped included. Our prices will deliver anywhere in the lower 48 states. They're out of Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, is it just coffee co-op, perhaps?
Coop. On the Twitter handle, it's just COOP, so it looks like Coop.
Right. But most of those like agricultural stuff is like a farmer-owned co-op. So
there you go. There's your their other shameless plug for the night. Just coffee co-op, not Coop. Sorry, guys.
Right.
Apologize.
So yeah, support that. If you were gonna support that Hugh Jackman crap, keep it in America. Don't be sending that over to Australia. You keep it American.
There you go. All right, friends, that's going to do it for us. Have a great rest of the night. Be safe, don't be stupid, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.